Desmond Pro Sound Mix with part two of five mixing mistakes. And part two is monitoring. Now, when you mix, the first thing you want to do is get the static mix right. So, the static mix is when you turn off all of the plugins, you don't have any plugins on there, and you set your levels. This is one of the most important parts of the mix because if you get a good static mix, you'll tend to not use plugins as loudness tools and just use them for what they were designed for. So, what goes along with the static mix is the fact that most people turn their speakers aren't turned up enough. So, what happens is they start moving the faders. And so you only go from 0 to 12. So, but these guys to 10 in Studio One, these guys will move all of the faders up because they can't hear it. And the only reason they can't hear it is because they're monitoring too low. So, if it's a case where you can't turn up your speakers, you need to use headphones, okay, to get that static mix. Headphones work sometimes better than monitors because that environment doesn't change, right? Your monitoring environment will change depending on how you set your speakers, what's in the room or whatever. But when you put those headphones on, they stay the same. So if you would just turn up your sound card, your interface, whatever you want to call it, you'll start making smaller fader moves. Okay. You might only need to move a fader 2 dB, 3 dB. But if you have them too low, then you start moving. And so what I find that they do is they start using the auxiliaries, or in Studio One's case, the group faders, and they start moving those up. So they'll come over here and they'll start moving all of these up because they're trying to get it louder when all they had to do was turn up the volume in the first place. And also, along with the monitoring, is you also need to have your speakers off the wall and out of the corners. This is really, really important because when you have your speakers in the corners, you can get a bass buildup of up to 18 dB. And this is one of the main reasons why what you hear is not what you get when you take it to the car, because your environment is totally wrong. So, for that purpose, I recommend SonarWorks. It's a little pricey at 300. I think it goes down to about 175 on Black Friday. But it comes with a mic and it measures your space and it EQs your space to so that what you hear is what you get. And if you do that, you get your speakers set up right, you're not going to have any problems. Your mix is going to come out a lot better. So that's when you put your plugins on, because plugins are not really meant to be just use it as a loudness tool. Plugins are meant to compress, but not compress with loudness, just compress. EQ is meant to EQ without really boosting a lot. So that is part two, the monitoring. Stay tuned for part three.